Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian of supermarcy.com, and welcome to my video review of the new Australian comedy drama Last Cab to Darwin. So let's get right into it. Now, as I've stated if you've seen my other video reviews in the past, and as well as my written reviews over at supermarcy.com when it comes to Australian films, I'm a big fan and big supporter of Australian films, and I will always go out of my way to check any out that are at the cinema. And I was definitely very intrigued to check out Last Cab to Darwin because it had a lot of key elements in it that definitely had me very interested. For one, it's the newest film from by Australian actor-director Jeremy Sins, and he directed this. This is his third feature as a director, and he previously made the World War I drama Beneath Hill 60, and as well as his very first film, Last Train to Frio, which I thought was an absolutely terrific film, and he actually for Last Cab to Darwin, he actually reteams with the same writer / playwright behind Last Train to Frio with this one, because this one's also based on trying to remember Reg Cribb, who wrote Last Train to Frio, and he also wrote Last Cab to Darwin. Well, both the stage versions, but Jeremy Sins also worked with him on the screenplays for both films. So in that regard, I was very interested to check out because I was a big fan of Last Train to Frio, and of course it had a really great cast that they assembled together. Michael Caton, who's probably one of Australia's most beloved actors, and of course two-time Oscar nominee Jacki Weaver as well. So in that regard, I was definitely intrigued to check it out. So what did I think of the film overall? I have to say, I really liked this film. I thought it was a great film, and what I like about it, it does a really good balance of sort of combining both the comedy of the film and as well as the drama. Like, it finds that really perfect balance between the two, and also to find sort of the humor in a otherwise a very depressing story. But at the same time, it's not a full-on comedy, and it doesn't treat like its subject matter in a lighthearted way. It still treats it very seriously, hence the sort of dramatic, and brings a lot of the film's more dramatic moments as well. But at the same time, there are some really funny moments in there as well. And of course, for those out there, the main character, who's played by Michael Caton, has cancer, and he's very advanced form of it, and he's going to die. So he decides to drive to Darwin to become the first recipient of voluntary euthanasia. And I really like the fact that this film, even though it is besides it being a comedy drama, it's a film that has a very sort of controversial theme at the center of it. And I think we all have our own opinions when it comes to euthanasia. So I'm not going to say my feelings on the subject, because it's a very complicated type of issue, and it's one that could easily be talked about for hours. But what I really liked about this film is that it explores that in the guise of a comedy drama, and as well as putting us on this journey with this main character played by Michael Caton, who is just wonderful. He gives a really wonderful performance, and he is also very likable, and you can't help but sort of feels so much for his character during the course of the film, and you can understand what he's going through. And I like the fact that the film is never sort of really too clear about the subject. It sort of has an even-handed approach when it comes to euthanasia, because during the course of the film, like the film sort of brings up some interesting points of why he should euthanize himself, or other times why he shouldn't. Like, the film has that really good balance, seeing both sides of the story, while in a way still being a really entertaining and really compelling comedy drama. And as well as, I mean, it's beautifully well written. Jeremy Sins and Reg Cribb do a wonderful job at the screenplay. It's beautifully directed by Jeremy Sins as well. And the movie just looks spectacular, because a lot of the film is basically Michael Caton's sort of drive on the way to Darwin, and it just looks spectacular. The cinematography is just great. And of course the performances from everyone are terrific as well. Of course Michael Caton, who's fantastic. Also, like, Jacki Weaver's really good as well. I wouldn't say this is one of her best performances, but I thought she still did a pretty solid job nonetheless. And of course, you got other sort of well-known actors who I'm trying to look up the names for them right now. You got like Emma Hamilton, who's really good as well, and there's another actor in there, I can't think of his name. But also Ningali, Lawford, who's kind of like this sort of love interest of Michael Caton's character, and I really like the relationship between these two characters, and it's also, the film also, in a way, besides sort of talking about sort of the issue of euthanasia and all that, does sort of at the same time try to sort of explore a bit about of racism as well, especially since since Michael Caton's character is white, and Ningali Lawford, I probably mispronounced her first name wrong, so forgive me, is Aboriginal. So there's always that sort of how, you know, the people in their town sort of see their relationship, and since they have to keep it so quiet so people wouldn't judge them. And the film could easily it would have been good if the film explored that a bit more, but at the same time, though, it's not really about the topic of racism, even though it does deal with it a little bit. But there's a lot more to the film than just that, and it's really just about this character's journey, and in a way, kind of, even though he's dying, is trying to experience life again. But it does it in a way that's not overly sentimental or cheesy, and it does it in a way that's actually quite moving and heartfelt. And also the ending is wonderful. Is wonderful and beautifully done. I'm not going to say what happens, of course, but it's a really good film, and I really enjoyed this one a lot. And it's just got really wonderful cast and great characters, and I like the relationships between Michael Caton's character and, besides Ningali Lawford's character, like his relationship with other characters in the film as well is really good as well, and brings a lot of the film's sort of heart. And I just think it's a really good film, and it's definitely a crowd pleaser as well. Like I said, it's a film that does provide both the laughs and tug at the heartstrings, but it does it in a way that, like I said, is not overly sentimental or cheesy. It's just beautifully well done, and I really enjoyed this film a lot. In terms of criticisms, I do think it's a tad overlong. I think it could have been better if it was 10 minutes shorter. And there was a point where, and the third act, it does tend to drag a little bit, and you'll know what I mean if you see it, because that would go in the sport territory if I explain why that is. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I do think like the third act does tend to drag a bit, and the film didn't need to necessarily be a bit over 2 hours long. It could have been a couple of minutes shorter and had a bit of better pacing, particularly in the third act. But overall, yeah, I really liked Last Cab to Darwin. I thought it's a great film. I think everyone will enjoy in some way. Like I said, if you're looking for something that'll make you laugh and make you cry, not that I cried, but I was moved, but it's definitely worth a watch, and it's definitely one of this year's top Australian films as well. So if I had to give Last Cab to Darwin a rating, I would give it 4 out of 5, and it's definitely a must-see. So yeah, that's the end of my video review of Last Cab to Darwin. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone.